Hello, this is our version of the Hangman Game in C coding. As you can see on lines 1, 2, and 3, we include 3 different libraries that we use throughout our whole program. On line 5, we define a word to have an unchangeable value of 15. On line 7, we declare our main function. On line 9, we declare an integer named C. On line 10, we declare another integer named S, and we equal that to 0. On line 11, we declare a character array named word array, which has a maximum size of 15. On line 12, we declare a character named letter. On line 13, we declare an integer named turn, and we equal that to 0. On line 14, we declare another integer, but this time it's an array, named letter check, which has a maximum size of 15. On line 15, we declare another character array named guess, which has a maximum size of 16. On line 16, we declare another integer named guess check, and we equal that to 0. On line 17, we then declare another integer named amount of lives, and we equal that to 7. On line 18, we declare an integer named b, and we equal that to 1.
This next section is crucial to the beginning of the game. In summary, it requires the first user to input a word to start. In line 21, it declares an integer quit and sets it equal to 0. In the next line, we use printf to display the title, Welcome to Hangman. Next on line 25, printf was used again to prompt the user to put in the amount of letters in their chosen word. The subsequent line, 26, reads the user's input. Then on line 27, printf is used to finally ask the user to put in their chosen word, which is then read and placed in the library on line 30. The next couple of lines, 32 through 33, are an interesting part because there is a loop that replaces a letter of the chosen word with spaces, so the word is no longer seen on the output, which leads for the next user to guess what the word is without the output panel spoiling it.
On line 36, we use a while to loop our inputted code until it has reached the size of the word that was selected by user 1. On line 38, a printf is used to print word with a colon next to it. On line 40, a for loop that is restricted by the size of the word selected by user 1 is used to loop the following statements. On line 42, the if statement is used to check whether or not user 2 has selected the right character in the word. It does this by going through the integer array letter check and checking to see if any zeros have been turned to ones. If user 2 has not selected the right character, line 45 is used to print each and every dash in place of each and every letter in the word. Line 51, puts is simply used to enter a space in the console. On line 52, a printf is used to prompt the user 2 to enter a letter of their choice. Line 53, fget is used to scan the letter that user 2 has inputted into the console. On line 55, the if statement uses the condition strncmp to check whether or not user 2 has entered quit into the console. If they have entered quit, the integer quit will equal to 1, and break will end the while loop, which will end the game. On line 60, the character letter is equal to the character array guess, which was used to hold the character that user 2 guessed in the previous statements. On line 62, printf is used to print the letter that user 2 has entered into the console. 65, integer guess check is equal to integer turn, which is later used to check whether or not user 2 should lose a life. On line 67, a for loop is used to loop the if statement. The condition in the if statement checks if the character that the user 2 has inputted into the console has already been chosen previously. If user 2 has repeated a previous input, the while loop begins again with the continue statement, and user 2 doesn't lose a life. Line 71 is one of the most crucial parts of our entire code, and it uses an if statement to check whether or not user 2 has selected the right letter in the word. If user 2 has selected a correct letter, line 72 equals a place of the letter in the integer array letter check to a 1. The integer array letter check is used at the beginning of the while loop to decide whether to print letter of the chosen word or to print an underscore in place of the letters in the word. Line 73 simply increments the integer turn by 1. Integer turn is used in the next statement on line 76.
On line 76, there is an if statement which is used to check the amount of lives the user has. Inside the if statement, there is a printf which tells the user to try again because they have guessed a letter or the word incorrectly. As we continue throughout the program, we can see a break statement which is used to end the while loop when the user runs out of lives. On line 84, the out statement is simply used to tell the user that they have guessed a letter from the word correctly. The if statement on line 86 is used to demonstrate an example of how the game functions. The printf inside that if statement tells the user that they have only 6 lives, and it also shows an example of the layout of how the game will look within the console output. The if statement on line 92 is used to check if the user has ended the game early. If the user has ended the game early, it will end the while loop and will take you back to the beginning of the game. On line 95, the if statement is used when the user runs out of lives. Then the printf inside that statement is used to tell the user that they have lost the game, and it ends up showing the correct word or answer that they were trying to guess for. The final statement in the program is used to tell the user that they have won the game and have guessed the word correctly.
As you can see, the console prints "Welcome to Hangman" and prompts user 1 to enter the amount of letters in their word. Then it prompts user 1 to enter the word that they are choosing user 2 to guess. On this screen, the console first prints an example so that user 2 cannot make any excuses as to why they are losing the game. After the example, the game then begins and user 2 is able to guess until they either get the word correct or they run out of their 6 lives. Once the game is finished, the console will either print "you lose" if user 2 has run out of lives, and it will then print the correct word, or it will print "you win" if user 2 has guessed the right characters and guessed the right word.